J. Jinx!
Truck stop!
Grab your tape player and colored pencils. It's time to color with the Goonies. I'd like to talk about my favorite movie. My girlfriend got me this coloring book of The Goes.
What? The Goes?
Oh, there's a sticker. It is still in the packaging, and what I'd like to do is try and predict what scenes from the movie are in the coloring book. It is a pretty thick book. There are lots of pages. I haven't even looked at the back. I don't want any clues as to what's in there, but on the cover, it looks like I got my work cut out for me, because if you have a look around, they have some pretty obscure references already right here. I mean, you got some of the obvious things, the doubloon, the copper bone, the inferno. Then you got some obscure things. You got Sloth's cuffs, slick shoes, pincers of power, Stephanie's broken glasses, the can of whipped cream that Chunk likes to eat when he's depressed.
Oh God, am I depressed?
And that exercise thing that they tie Brandon up in the chair.
Brian, how far can you stretch that?
It's not that hard.
Hey, get off me, Chunk. Get off me.
And then Rosalita finds him bringing in groceries and then laughs at his misfortunes. Looks like I got my work cut out for me. Speaking of cutting, I'd like to unbox this Goonies coloring book using my custom-made One-Eyed Willy Goonies knife. Made by my friend Tristan Barnett, it is adorned with the skull of One-Eyed Willy. Now, I fully encourage you to play along. Try to guess at what scenes might be in here. Well, let's get the obvious ones out of the way. There's going to be the truffle shuffle. Even people who've only seen this movie once in their life know of that scene. There might be a scene showing that Rube Goldberg machine in the yard, or it might be the same as the truffle shuffle part, together. There's that iconic image of the Goonies sitting on the beach at the very end. I predict that will be in here. And also there's a scene that's not quite in the movie, but it was used as the movie poster, at least in North America, where it shows the Goonies kind of hanging onto each other as they're falling into a pit. So even though that specific thing never happened in the movie, it was used as the poster. That might be in here. I predict there will be at least one image taking place on the Inferno. It might be someone walking the plank, or it might be Captain Chunk, or, some scene on the boat. And there's probably going to be a scene of the Inferno itself, either sailing in the sunset, like at the end of the movie, or when they first encounter it after coming through the water slide tube thingies. Now, of course, there's going to be something about the Fratellis. The scenes that I'm thinking of that might be in there are at the very beginning of the movie, maybe when they're breaking the one kid out of jail. There's a scene where the kids are kicked out of the restaurant and Mama Fratelli spins around and looks at the camera and says, kids suck. But it's like, I don't know, something about that picture in my mind would look good in a coloring book. Maybe that's in there. There is going to be the scene where Chunk and Sloth are eating a Baby Ruth bar together. That just has to be in there. I predict there will be the statue with the penis that fell off and was put on upside down. There's probably going to be some scenes from the opening montage of the movie, like when Data uses one of his gadgets and falls into the trash can. There's going to be some kind of a Data gadget scene. Slick shoes, pincers of power. Well, I mean, they're on the cover, right? Or the, I don't know what that thing was called. The glove thing. This one actually worked. I mean, I suppose the slick shoes worked too. You know what? All of his inventions worked. He's Data. I hope that there is a scene with Rosalita, the Hispanic maid that the family hires to help out around the house. She's really only in a few scenes, right? There's like the opening when she's trying to cross the street, and then she's given the tour of the house by mouth, and then she comes in to find Brandon tied up in the chair, and then at the very end when she finds all the gems in the marble bag. That would be a neat image. Just have her hand with the gems falling and glistening in the sun. Well, enough chit-chat. Let me see how right I am, or wrong, or surprised. It's hardcover, too. I want to preserve this, so I'm going to be careful how I fold it. Okay. This is the official coloring book. You know, one thing I was thinking, that scene where Chunk and Sloth are eating the Baby Ruth, I was wondering if they were actually going to call it a Baby Ruth, or maybe they couldn't for copyright reasons. Maybe instead of a Baby Ruth, they're going to do like getting a fake Rolex and change one of the letters. Maybe it'll be a Baby Roth, or perhaps a Bobby Ruth, or something like that. Wow. First image. Well, it sort of involves the Fratellis. Now, this has me nervous, because this is a very specific scene that I was actually kind of going over in my head of like something with the Fratellis. Surely not the car race, the truck race on the beach, but here we are.
Trusted your old mother, boy. Traveling the four-wheel drive and hold on to your hat.
Let's see if we can spot them. So this is the scene where they lost to the cops in this on the beach truck race, which, was that ever actually a thing? Did people do that in Oregon? I mean, they had to have, right? Did someone just come up with this? I want to see more of this. I'm not into racing, but I would watch beach racing. Anyway, we are looking for a Jeep Cherokee XJ edition. Maybe this one. Or maybe they would be in the back somewhere. I'm kind of surprised that they're just not more obvious. Like, you don't see Mama Fratelli through the windshield of any of these, you know? This guy seems very content waving the flag. Looks like a character out of the Perry Bible Fellowship. You know what? I'm kind of tempted to redo the intro now, because these are the kinds of scenes where I was thinking, like, why would they put that in there? It's so obscure and quick. But yeah, no, this one has it all. So you got the prison break. I was right about that one with the fire. And here's the Fratellis driving away. What the hell is wrong with Mama Fratelli? She looks like she just farted and she's trying not to laugh about it. And then you got Chunk observing the car chase with that weird pink stuff that shoots out of a Pepsi cup. I never understood why that happened. Like, was it carbonated or something? But no, it was like in... And it even made that, like, farting sound. Well, I don't know, what can I say? Steven Spielberg is a genius. Coloring in Chunk's shirt would take an enormous amount of time. Look at that thing. Oh, and it blends in with his shirt, kind of, but you can see him holding the pizza, too, which he's, like, wiping on the screen. This has a lot of detail. Oh, interesting. Alright, so we have a shot of Data. Technically, it's pronounced Data, but I think he liked being called Data. I don't remember. When he's, like, ziplining down across from one house to another. And then you have, like, a whole page of just like dedicated to data gadgets. Here we have that's obscure. That's the belt thing from the very beginning of the movie. It's got like a suction cup plunger thing that shoots out and it drags them into the trash can. But before it opens, it does say 007 on it. It's like a repeating pattern or something, because we have Data's like trench coat thing twice. We have the slick shoes twice, so it's like a tiled thing that was just cut out, but that's fine. Got the radio. What the fuck is this? Is this a tape player? It looks like a reel-to-reel, but it's all busted up. I don't know this reference.
I don't know either.
On to the next page. Okay, I call this one. It is the Truffle Shuffle combined with the Rube Goldberg machine. Here you got the bowling ball rolling over here. We got all the bits and pieces of the machine, and Mouth and Mikey standing on the porch like a couple of assholes. And Chunk exposing himself. Looks great. Next. Okay. One I was expecting, the other one I was not, but I'm not sad. I'll start on the left. We have an homage to Mouth. So what we are looking at, I think, is basically just like a profile picture with a kind of a frame that's, like I said, an homage. Let me see if I can point out every little detailed piece. He was kind of the pretty boy of the group, in a way, and he did have a couple of scenes where he was brushing his hair. So there is his hairbrush. When they were down in the well, he retrieved a quarter, specifically one from 1985. This was his dream, his wish, and it didn't come true. And he took it back and put it on his picture frame. We have a long pearl necklace and a bunch of gems, which he tried to stash in his mouth, which is kind of a pun. But Mama Fratelli saw through his ruse. In one of the most hilarious scenes in the movie, she pulled the necklace out bead by bead, kind of like a perverted form of doing the rosary thing. We also have the marble bag, which I thought belonged to Mikey. I might be wrong about that, since it's on Mouth's frame. Or maybe they just couldn't think of anything else. I don't know. And then you got basic, cartography stuff representing the map. You got the cardinal coordinate wheel thingy there. Got some Spanish words here. And I'm not sure what's on his shirt, but it looks like some kind of a cityscape. That might be an interesting piece of trivia to work out, is what was on his shirt. And then we have the iconic gluing the penis onto the statue upside down. That is the David by Leonardo da Vinci. A couple of other details. We have the mess of potato chips that Chunk freaks out when the mother thinks he thinks the mother sees the penis, but she's actually seeing this mess. And we have Mikey's inhaler. I didn't pay enough attention to the hutch in the background to know if that's accurate, but I'm going to assume that it is. Anyway, next page. This is interesting. So, this is a scene where not a whole lot happens. I would not have predicted this, but it's kind of a casual scene with a lot of the main characters in the frame, so it makes sense, I guess, to put it in here. This is the Jerk Alert.
Jerk alert!
Can I help you? Hello, little guys. I'm Mr. Perkins, Troy's father.
We know who Troy is. He's such a cheap guy.
Scene. You can see Chunk looks really angry, and they're at the Walsh residence. So yeah, this is when Troy comes by to serve the papers to get them kicked out of the house, and then Mikey gets all depressed and says, I hope you balls can land in a... I hope you make our house into a sand trap and you don't get your balls out, something like that.
When they wreck our house, I hope they make it a sand trap.
And never get their balls out.
You know, I think they made me lose my appetite.
I think that's pretty much the scene. So, that's a nice composition.
I didn't remember that scene of the two of them hugging.
Yeah, so this scene happens immediately before the other one. Because, like I said, Mikey's depressed, so his brother gives him a hug. And then there's this weird thing that happens where he, like, walks away, but Mikey just kind of, like, goes limp, and he has to drag him across the floor. It's kind of strange.
Come on, before you catch a real cold.
But I guess it's to show that, like, they're brothers and they're weird like that, because brothers can be weird like that. Ah, here's the scene where they discover the map. And the doubloon, which is seen here, from 1632.
1632.
So they're in Mikey's attic. Actually, kind of right after that scene, I think. And they find the paper, the newspaper article about Chester Copperpot.
Look at it. Hey, you guys ever heard of this guy? Look, Chester Copperpot.
Chester Copperpot.
Look, it says, Chester Copperpot, missing while in pursuit of local legend. Reclusive scavenger claims, I have the key to One-Eyed Willie.
And you got Mouth wearing the pirate costume stuff, much to Mikey's chagrin. But look at the inspirational look on Mikey's face. He's like, this is it. This is the answer to all of our problems. What the fuck is that? I don't remember that detail. I might have to watch this movie again. What is that? Anyway, next page. Okay. Number one, another scene that I predicted. And number two, this is funny as fuck. Okay. So yeah, we have the scene of Brandon tied up in the chair and Rosalita coming in, like kicking the groceries that she drops, like through the house. We have the mess of potato chips still there. And then over here we have the quote that follows this scene when Brandon is freed and he realizes he's got to go find his brother and their friends, and he says,
I'm gonna hit you so hard when you wake up your clothes are gonna be out of stuff.
and then he discovers that the air in his tires have been depleted. And we have another one of those like frame homage things going on. This is the little girl's bike that he steals, and they never actually show him giving it back after he's thrown off of a cliff riding it. They never actually resolve that whole thing. So this little girl's just like, yeah, the asshole next door stole my bike and it's just gone now.
I owe you one.
It'd be funny if they did like a follow-up, like an end of the credits thing where they use all the pirate treasure to, like, you know, keep their house, and then she gets like a super tricked out bike in return, and Brandon's like, here you go, little girl, sorry about that. Here's Brandon's bandana that he likes to wear, because it's the 80s and it was okay for white people to do that back then. And you got the paisley pattern in a square, like a bandana. And you got the, whatever, these springy exercise thingies that nobody uses anymore. What a funny scene to include. The people who made this book are my kind of people. Okay, I think I predicted this one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Maybe I might not have mentioned it on camera, but I was talking to my girlfriend that there was probably going to be a scene that has them on their bicycles. So here they are. They are with the doubloon, and they're searching for the landmarks. Okay, I was just talking about this part. This is when Troy tries to murder Brandon. And frankly, I don't know how he didn't or maybe he did for the rest of the movie, Brandon's a zombie, because he like went flying off of a cliff.
Oh my God! The
And then, like I said, I don't think the bicycle was ever recovered. So yeah, that's in here. Okay. Another iconic scene. Mikey holding up the doubloon and lining it up with the rock and the lighthouse. And I don't remember what else, but yeah, you got both views here. You got Mikey looking through it, and then you have what Mikey sees through it. Pretty cool. And here we have a scene pretty shortly after. They go to the lighthouse, and this is where they figure out from the map that they have to walk in a certain direction, a certain number of paces, and it goes toward the restaurant. And so that's the scene of them figuring that out, I guess. All right. Well, here we have Trunk. Well, his real name is Lawrence. Here we have Chunk discovering bullet holes in the off-road vehicle, the ORV. So then we have one of these homage panels to the Fratellis. This time they have Mama's pearl necklace, Francis's toupee, the pizza, the pepperoni pizza that they order. We got the blender that they use to torture Chunk. The one guy's hat, and then the wanted poster, and sunglasses, a pair of glasses for some reason. And here we have a whole page dedicated to Mama Fratelli. Here she is in all of her glory, with her wanted poster in the background, the blender in the foreground, her tattoo, which is an anchor that says sun on it, which is kind of a play on the whole, like, mother tattoo. I don't know, she is Italian, she's dedicated to her family. And you can tell that she's Italian because there's a fork with some spaghetti on it right here. And there's a plate of spaghetti on it. Is this all just to say, like, yep, she's Italian? I don't remember spaghetti being featured in the movie. And on this side, we have Sloth under the basement window, trying to escape his chains. And here we have the scene on the TV that inspired him later to do what happened on the TV, which was when he jabbed a dagger into the sail of a ship and like kind of rode it all the way down. I wonder what that movie actually was. I'm not sure. That's a neat piece of trivia to look up. Oh, okay. This is a nice scene too, just because of the framing. This is the whole group in the Fratelli basement as the Fratellis actually enter the restaurant, and they realize, oh shit, I gotta be quiet. They're actually here. Chunk smells the pepperoni pizza, and then they realize they gotta get out of there. So most of the group end up going below the fireplace. Chunk smells ice cream and ends up in the freezer.
But I'm getting out of here. I smell ice cream.
And here we have that scene. How about that? This is when Chunk goes into the freezer after smelling the ice cream, and he realizes in that freezer with him is a stiff.
It's a stiff!
I like these like quote pages because they're quoting the most, just the funniest parts of the movie. You know, a few things to point out. You can't really make out any of the labels on the ice cream, because some of that may be copywritten, like Rocky Road, Chocolate Eruption. Like those might actually be flavors that are patented by, I don't know, Ben & Jerry's or something. And look at the Baby Ruth bar right here. I was right. They kind of show you the B and the Y and the R, but the rest of it's just like hieroglyphs. So yeah, they do obscure that part. And there's the whipped cream and the pizza. So this is kind of a Chunk slash it's a stiff. Oh. With like the Hawaiian shirt flower pattern in the background. This is a fun book. Here we have Data using his bully lighters. And there he is with his 007 belt buckle. Oh, there's the reel-to-reel thing. Does that actually do anything? I don't really remember anything about that. That's a detail that I will have to look back on. And there's Mouth wearing that shirt that had the cityscape. Only now you can see more of it. It's like a dude on a motorcycle, I think. So many details. Over here we have the page dedicated to Data. And we have all of the proper accoutrements. We got tools, the boxing glove thing, the pincers of power, the radio. There's the plunger thing that fits in like an old sardine can or whatever. Yeah, that thing. Now I'm looking for that reel-to-reel thing. What the hell was that? Whatever. That's Data on the beach with his camera. I think that's the scene. Anyway. And here we have the Goonies destroying this entire city's plumbing infrastructure for no reason. The Goonies are terrorists. Yeah, this scene was kind of weird because they're like, hey, I have an idea. If we bang on these pipes and make a bunch of noise, and they never explain, like, well, then what happens? No, they just start fucking doing it.
These look like water pipes, guys. So maybe if we bang on them hard enough...
And then there's like car crashes and floods, and like one poor guy gets thrown on his ass and toilet explodes. Why did they do that? And then later on, like an asshole, Sloth comes and causes another car accident. They all did this on the authority of Mouth, whose father is a plumber. But they never explain why they did this. Truly an amazing scene. I'm glad they included it. And here they are, discovering the remains of Chester Copperpot, who has been crushed by a giant boulder that fell from the ceiling. And when they lift off what they call the copper bone, which is this thing right here, his head comes tumbling off.
Oh, you're so big. Give me that. Give me this thing.
And then Mouth makes a weird noise. He goes like, toot 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 toot. Toot 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 toot. You remember that? No. So this is like kind of a keystone, where, yeah, it's almost like a combination key to a combination lock, sort of. I don't know. And you got like half a coin here. Basically a general map theme in the background. Okay. And here we have the Fratellis torturing poor Chunk. This is when they get him to tell that ridiculous story of, there was a bunch of them. He's like, he knocked his little sister down the stairs and blamed it on the dog. He vomited in a movie theater and everyone threw up all over each other. And it went, huh! Yeah!
Then this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other. I never felt so bad in my entire life.
I'm beginning to like this kid, Ma.
This is also the scene that you find out that Chunk always wanted to play the violin.
Hit puree.
No, I'm too young. No, I want to play the violin.
Which, if there's ever a sequel to The Goonies, which I hope there is not, I want Chunk to become a musician, which he actually was for a little while in real life, or at least the actor. Forgot the actor's name, something Cohen. Anyway, here is Sloth enjoying some television time with his new friend, Chunk.
So sometimes people call me Chunk.
That's when Chunk starts flailing around in his chair, and Sloth just think that's hilarious. And then so he starts jumping around in his chair too. Ah, okay. Here we have the slick shoes scene. This is when they're, classic scene of the log across the water, and they do something to it to prevent the bad guys from being able to catch them. So that's this scene. This scene, I'm not sure. It's kind of nondescript. It might be them being discovered by the Fratellis, and I think this is the scene where they come up with a plan, and then Mama Fratelli just kind of pops up and was like, "That sounds like a good plan," or something like that.
Then we can make a run for it.
Now that sounds like a great idea.
Yo.
Oh, we have the Troy bucket scene. Another kind of random one, but also meaningful, because it's one of the more poignant points in the movie. See, they have the option of going in two directions here. They could return home, go back to, real life, as shitty as that is, or continue down in the underground to the promise of adventure and possibly a brighter future. And so they deliver to Troy and his jock friends Andy's jacket. And then that's when Troy announces that Andy is indeed a Goonie.
Goonies never say die. I'm not a Goonie.
Andy! You Goonie!
Oh, yeah. I think I kind of mentioned this scene, but not this exact one. It was, I mentioned that movie poster scene. This is kind of close to where that happens. This is that bone organ thing, which looked metal as fuck. And here they are trying to translate the notes on the back, which they never really noticed. Until this very scene. They're like, wait, are those music notes? Oh, let's play them. Well, whatever. It works as a plot device. Not quite a MacGuffin, but convenient. Then we have an homage to arguably the main character, Mikey, who later went on to be Frodo Baggins. We've got around the frame One-Eyed Willie's skull, the doubloon, inhaler, there's the copper bone device, and random bits of pirate treasure. And this might be the map folded up. I'm not sure. Mikey looking a bit, I don't know, mouth agape, awestruck. And here's Data going down that cool water slide with the spiky things. And they play the fast, exciting music, very Spielberg. I called this one too. The Inferno in the Cave. Now there is a fun fact about this scene. There are two fun facts about this scene. Right around this time, they're supposed to... They were attacked by a giant octopus. And they warded it away by shoving a Walkman into its mouth. And that freaked it out and it left. The scene was so terrible that they cut it from the movie, but they forgot to cut the reference to it at the very end.
The octopus was fully scaly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the other fun fact was that this scene specifically actually took 2 takes, because up until this moment, none of the Goonies cast had actually seen the Inferno set. So the idea was they would capture a genuine moment of surprise. They would turn around, see the ship, which is a full-scale model, but they couldn't use the take because a lot of them said things with bad words. They were like, holy fucking shit! I just noticed this. Is that in the movie? I don't remember that. This is like the mast, the mermaid that goes on the mast, but it's down here in the water. Okay. Here we have an homage to One-Eyed Willie. You have the pirate cutlass. Not unlike this one. We got One-Eyed Willie himself. I see the resemblance. Oh, the patch is over the wrong eye, though.
well.
Oh well. This is One-Eyed Willie's estranged cousin, Other Eye William. And we got the Inferno. This is the booby-trapped, like, scales that the Fratellis set off. Copper bone. That thing's popping up a lot, man. Got the skull. And over here, let's see what kind of obscurities we could spot here. Well, Willie's got the captain's hat, the fancy jacket. There's a flintlock pistol here. He's holding a goblet. And we got a treasure chest here with another goblet. The background map shows like an eerie looking skull right there. And there's like a scroll right here. I wonder if that could be the map. And we got a compass and the ship's wheel. Okay, here's the scene on the Inferno. Another one of my predictions. This is the Goonies hanging out in the treasure room when they are discovered by the Fratellis. Here's One-Eyed Willie hanging out there as well. And then Data uses the boxing glove thing. And I think, I'll have to remember, I think he used this twice. One time it punched himself. No, the first... So there was one time he used it, I think it actually succeeded, and it was in the scene where they were crossing the log, I think. And it punched one of the Fratellis, and he did the cartoonish, like... And then the other time, I think it punched himself in the head, which caused one of the Fratellis to laugh at Data, which pissed him off. And then he threw this, like, weapon, like a ninja spike, and it went right into his dick.
I know what I'm doing. I'm all like, Data's just unhappy. This is a pound.
Let me help you, brother.
More detail on that shirt. Yeah, it's definitely a dude on a motorcycle. How perfect. Did I not reference this scene specifically? Well, I have no more to say about this scene, nor this one, because I also just described it perfectly earlier on. But yes, very, very iconic scenes, and well, I feel proud of myself. That's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay, let's back up. Now we're out on the beach, and this is when Sloth assaults the police officer for trying to arrest his friend. Or no, he's trying to arrest somebody. Hold on, let me think for a minute. I think they were going to arrest Sloth, and they were trying to tell the cop, like, no, he's with us, he's a good guy. And then Sloth just, like, lifts him up out of the air like this, and got away with it.
Don't shoot him!
And here we have Sloth and Trunks celebrating with a box of pizza, and oh my, the expressions on these two faces are just precious. And then we have the iconic phrase, never say die, and the scene that I also predicted, that final shot when they're sitting together on the beach, and then they scream because the pirate ship is sailing away. And there we go. Oh, we got that scene too. How about that? This is Rosalita's hand, because she was trying to tell them, like, don't sign the paperwork. I found treasure in this marble bag. And then everyone kind of, there's this camera, this exact shot. Great shot. And you have the gems that are, like, tumbling to the ground down here, which doesn't really happen, but it kind of tells you what's going on, because if you didn't know there were gemstones involved, this would look kind of weird, wouldn't it? So I don't know what this scene's about, because this doesn't happen in the movie. Very interesting. And at the very end, we have the publication information. We have a couple more graphics on the back that I don't recall seeing, at least in this way. within the book. We have another shot of the hairbrush, and then we have Andy's jacket in full. Grab your tape player and colored pencils. It's time to color with the Goonies. Relive the action and adventure of the Goonies with this official coloring book featuring original art inspired by the film. Journey with the regional rejects and experience Sloth, the Fratellis, and all the exciting Goonie adventures in a whole new way. But make sure to watch out for booby traps. This coloring book features beloved scenes from discovering the map in Mikey's attic to finding One-Eyed Willie's breathtaking pirate ship. Use your creativity to color the treasure and warm the reunion between the Goonies and their families as One-Eyed Willie's ship sets sail. This coloring book is jam-packed with special designs and scenes the Goonies fans are sure to love. That's 10 out of 10. It's just something that, like, you could leave it on your coffee table for company to come and flip through, have a good laugh, have a good memory. You can put it on display and say, hey, I got the Goonies official coloring book. And that is good enough for me.